Hi, this is WIP video 3 for week 5 and week 6. And for this week's WIP video, we will separate for 4 parts. And these 4 parts are refine the characters, building creepy models, and testing facial capture and next directions. And through this process, you will know what we did in the last 2 weeks. For the first part, the refine character, I use the AI to generate many color matching schemes. Through this way, I could choose which color I want. And the most important thing is that AI has changed a lot about to lead the director and the designer to choose which color they want. The results show that it has greatly improved the design efficiency of designers. Next, you could see what will happen in the characters. The character color change a lot. And also I redesigned the eye and separate in the many different layers. We want to make a very lovely and crystal clear feeling eyes as much as possible. When the model is completed, you could see the rotation of the eyes and present different sensations and depths of the different angles. Then I see many references, and through that reference, I think I will redraw my character's line work. Because I find in the live 2D market, if we could draw the line very thin, the character will be more delicate. When finish the first character, I start to design the second one. Because we have established the relevant guidelines, so the character design will become traceable, such as the thickness of lines and the tendency of the colors, so that the speed of character design can be faster in the next character design works. At the same time, we want to test the long hair effect, so I draw the long hair and divided them into different layers.
By week 5 or 6, David had painted and layered each part of my character in Photoshop. So I imported the models into Live 2D Cubism for these 2 weeks to make the model rigging. Because the final face capture will be weaker than the mockup in the software, I exaggerate it properly when I make it in the software. In the 5th week, I started with the steering distortion of the face and the expression of the features. The shapes of the 4 corners is automatically generated when the parameters such as angle X and angle Y are uncontaminated. The head is then adjusted manually at each point until the model looks more realistic in all 9 directions. Once the head is done, the parameters are set separately for each of the 5 senses. There are 4 main parts: eyes, eyebrows, ears, and mouth. For the ears, in order to make the turn more realistic, the left ear should be moved from the back to the front when the body is turned to the right. At this point, the edge of the face next to the left ear should be erased to create the impression that the ear is in front. The eyebrows are mainly about creating a raised eyebrow and a dripping eyebrow, thus enriching the expression movement. The eyes are a little more complex. To make the eyes more realistic, we divided them into 5 different layers, giving them a 3D look through perspective. As the eye turns to different positions, the pupil shifts direction, allowing the eyes to form a sphere. At the same time, I added a physics engine to the eyes to give it a slight gentling effect when it opens and closes, which makes the expression more vivid. In the 6th week, I completed the parameters for the mouse movements. The mouse movements are set according to the pronunciation rules so that the mouse dynamics are more realistic when the face is captured. As both Live 2D and the face capture software are produced by the Japanese company, I created 5 Japanese vowel mouse patterns in A, I, U, E, O for the mouse patterns. These 5 accents can be used as the base for all language accents, as they can form to the tone of the most language, including Chinese and English. It's also because this vowel articulation mouse patterns has characteristics that can be recognized by face capture in software. After the 5 sentences are done, the hair is made on the base of this. The hair is divided into front and back hair. The front hair is divided into 4 parts. The more details of the division, the more realistic of the movement will be. Adjust the mesh and the warp deformer to deform the hair. After the deformation is complete, fixes are added to create a warpy feel. The final body part is also adjusted in parts. The most difficult part, I think, is because there are many connections between the clothes, such as the shoulders and arms, and the chest strap and that connect the 2 arms. These parts add a lot of difficulty to the production and also add a sense of distance. I made many attempts at this part to achieve the final result. The whole body needs to be set to turn XYZ so that the body can be turned as a whole, including the head. So I put it all at the end of the production.
Now this part is testing the facial captures. At this stage, we have 2 compare solutions. And the first step, we will use the live streaming camera to make the face capture. And the next step, we will use Apple smartphone, use the depth camera to get the data from our face. Also, I will to test the different heights. And maybe in the different heights, the camera will have the very different effect. So to explore that will be very useful. You can through the 2 photos, see the workplace station. You could see the 2 cameras in the different angle, different height. Now let we start the test. This is the first step test. The data will come from the live stream camera. And you can see the character have some mistakes when she close and open her eyes. This is the most unnatural place of these solutions. Next solutions come from the Apple face capture. And this solution is use the WIP Studio software on the smartphones. This software will get the data and throw that data into the WIP region on the computer. Then those data will throw into the YouTube computer version. Then the character will move very smoothly. Finish this step, we will to test the height influence. Through these pictures, you could see when the streamer watched the center of the screen. the height of the camera will influence a lot about the performance of the virtual character's site. It's interesting that whether it's a live streaming camera or Apple camera, when we place it on the screen, the character's line of sight will become normal and correct. Through that experiments, we could get two conclusions. The first one is when we will to live in the virtual characters forms, we could to put our camera higher on the screen. And another conclusion is that we should to use the Apple camera as the face capture hardwares, and that it will be a very important low cost scheme. And for the next weeks, the direction and works, we will continue to experiment other softwares and use the different face capture also. And we will to explore more performance of all the character is cubism, and add more clothes, more face change expression, and more interesting effects. And also we will use the spin software. You could say this software is use the band system to achieve the live 2D effect. It will be a very interesting experiment for us. And thanks, that's all.